2019 Mercedes-AMG GT 63 car review. The good points of 2019 Mercedes-AMG GT 63. Outrageous acceleration, track sharpness, everyday comfort and utility. The bad points of 2019 Mercedes-AMG GT 63. Untitled personality ends up with extreme complexity. And since Mercedes-AMG can be a company full of formally dressed, stern and stoic Germans, you'll believe them whenever they tell you that this GT four-door chassis is stiffer as opposed to E63s, that it may better support higher cornering loads looking at the wider tires, understanding that all this is essential to undergird the highest output version with the company's twin-turbocharged 4.0-liter V8 produced currently, and that is housed under its hood. Yet when all 630 on the GT63's snarling horses are loosed, you know that the Affalterbach cowboys' austerity is simply a veneer swatched thinly over their true lunatic temperament, understanding that their Dressler suits are only a facade worn over John Force underoos. The GT63s, in the end, comes standard having a drift mode. This latest AMG creation is really potent, in truth. That runners same cowboys felt it needed to limit the cars we drove on roads around Austin, Texas, to 100 miles per hour, disable drift mode, and permanently enable stability control. Possibly they do know us together with we know them. The GT63s is indeed fast that after the electronic reins started draw tight at about 90 miles per hour. To keep us from pulverizing the 100 miles per hour limit, Wet experienced the throttle only for about 4 seconds. So we believe AMG CEO Tobias Mowers when he informs us that the GT63s will lap the ring inside the 7-minute 20-second range. And even though the same stoic Germans call your vehicle a four-door coupe, well, save ourselves any time and words. This can be a sedan. A ridiculously rapid one. The build of an beast. 3 variants can be purchased, the track-slapping GT63s described above, the 577 horsepower GT63, which relies on a slightly less mad version of same 4.0-liter V8, plus the GT53, which employs the brand's new 3.0-liter inline E6 grate for 429 horsepower as a result of a turbocharger, a power supercharger, an AC motor, as well as a 48-volt electrical subsystem. A GT43 model, with 362 horsepower from that inline E6, comes in other markets but definitely won't be sold here initially. A word concerning the GT63's engine, its additional power past the 603 horsepower version from the E63s comes due to twin scroll ball bearing turbos. The S engine uses journal bearing turbos, and also a reworked engine calibration. All GT4 doors come having a 9-speed automatic. The GT53's transmission relies on a conventional torque converter, while V8-powered cars ditch the fluid coupling for just a multiplate clutch pack. 4MATIC all-wheel drive is standard along the line. Speaking of all-wheel drive, this is the cool trick: toggle the GT63s into race mode, wood the brake, pin the throttle, and smirk smugly because the tach needle stalls inside a nervous twitch halfway around its sweep. Enjoy the fireworks show within the instrument panel since the boost gauge, tachometer, oil pressure, along with meters dance in unison. Then raise the left foot and allow the GT's 4MATIC system vaporize any ideas you could have had about all-wheel drive not pulling the weight. It's possible we felt your skin on our face stretch tightly into Elvis lips once we attempted to smile with the G-loading. Although its more svelte styling might send you to believe this is usually a smaller car as opposed to a class where it is based, in fact its wheelbase, at 116.2, is 0.5 inch more than an E63's sedans, and its particular length is 2.8 inches greater too. The GT 4-door is really based around the chassis with the E63's wagon, that has the same wheelbase because the sedan, being 1.8 inches wider compared to E63's, make its overall proportions more aggressive and enables accommodate slightly wider rubber. Numerous steel and aluminum braces enhance the GT 4-door's body, many of which aren't present within the E63's. There's an aluminum shear plate within the engine together with 3 braces spanning the very center tunnel. A carbon fiber trunk floor helps shave weight. AMG lets drive the GT63's around the circuit in the America's track, the spot that the big sedan, Mowers says it weighs regarding the same for an E63's, a little under 4,600 pounds. Proved itself highly capable wearing the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S rubber that comes standard. Pilot Sport Cup 2 track tires are optional, but AMG representatives reveal most buyers don't go for them on other models. What we know for sure concerning the GT is the fact that it's the most approachable big sedan we've ever driven using a racetrack, resolutely following steering commands as being a car 2/3 its dimensions. Some measure on this obedience is caused by its rear axle steering, and that is standard for the V8 models and endows the auto with rotational abilities like the smaller, lighter AMG GTR. By shifting some in the steering load towards the rear, the heavy GT 4-door turns with much more confidence than nearly all of its competitors. Confounding complexity. There's also an electronically controlled limited-slip rear differential the GT 4-door shares together with the E63's. The diff, rear axle steering, stability control, and all-wheel drive system work together within the authority with the AMG Dynamics system, that's new with all the GT 4-door. 4 numbers of AMG Dynamics, Basic, Advanced, Pro, and Master. Scale upward in aggression with 5 from the 6 dynamic select driving modes: Slippery, Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, Race, and Individual, that are switched by way of a steering wheel mounted knob or with a toggle around the center console. The driving modes control the sharpness in the engine and transmission responses and also the weight and effectiveness with the steering, suspension damping, and active exhaust settings. Air springs are standard on V8 models and change ride height while using driving modes, while 6-cylinder GTs consist of steel coil springs. The point from the AMG Dynamics system, as outlined by AMG test engineer Kevin Berger, is greater individualization. In practice, however, it is just a lot of complexity. This is what occurs when one car attempts to be everything to everyone. And nobody is faulting the GT 4-door's abilities, it certainly provides a high amount of trackability combined with relatively benign everyday comfort, even on huge wheels and ultra-low profile tires. But learning which AMG Dynamics modes correspond to which dynamic select modes, after which sorting out the proper way to configure everything to suit your favorite individual mode, will demand biological evolution numbers of experimentation. It's not an automobile for the uncommitted. Iron brake rotors are standard on all GT 4-door models, and carbon ceramic rotors, which save 35 pounds, are optional. Fixed 6-piston front calipers and single-piston sliding rear calipers are fitted with both varieties of rotors. 11 wheel options, starting from 19 to 21 inches, can be purchased. 20 inches are standard on GT63's models. As you move, the GT63 and GT53 come standard with 19s. Luxurious digs. Look inside and you can never predict the crafty loons at Affalterbach or involved. The GT 4-door's cabin is really a gem, and although its interior trim is very configurable dependent upon your taste and budget, every model we drove would have been a stunning combined wood, leather, microsuede, and graphite. Similar towards the A-Class, two high-resolution 12.3-inch TFT displays from the instrument cluster and infotainment screen. In addition, on the one for that driving modes, toggle buttons manipulating the transmission mode, suspension damping, stability control, wing position, and exhaust mode are found around the center console. Optional front seats with increased lateral bolstering as well as a fixed headrest can be obtained. The standard rear seat configuration is made up of two fixed back seats held by a carbon fiber shear panel, which adds stiffness to your chassis. The executive rear seat package does away while using carbon fiber panel in substitution for folding seatbacks, plus a larger console between them having a touchscreen to control the rear climate controls, lighting, and seat heating. Space inside the rear seats is adequate for 6-footers, but merely barely. And there's not a way in the Affolterbunk Cowboys is likely to squeeze a Stetson back there. Mercedes says the GT63S will hit 60 miles per hour in 3.1 seconds, but we've already shown that the C63S, which weighs a similar and makes less power, can devour that milestone in a mere 2.9 seconds, to ensure that appears to be an understated claim. We haven't yet strapped our test gear on the GT63S, but we can tell that at a standstill it's easily as rapid, and maybe more so, than all of its competition. Among four doors, only Porsche's electrified and 700-pound heavier Panamera Turbo S hybrid along with the grip-limited, rear-wheel drive Cadillac CTS-V have an overabundance power. But we realize, determined by conversations with those tricky Germans, that is much more than simply an acceleration game. They want the GT 4-door, in every single form, to become a comprehensively capable car, one who gives up nothing in comfort, performance, and attitude. By all appearances, and provided you're able to spend some time dialing it in, it appears to be they've succeeded. Pricing isn't announced yet, but at about $140,000 the GT63 would undercut the Porsche Panamera Turbo by about 10 grand. GT4 doors are typically in dealers at the beginning of 2019, giving the Affolterbunk boys plenty of time to do a few more covert power slides and place another John Force poster within the wall before slipping inside their gussies to reveal their next creation. But it no matter anymore. We know their secret.